Hello, Stampin' Buddies. It's Lori from Lori's Little Bit of Craftin'. It is Thursday night. Yes, Thursday night. It's before 11 p.m. Late night Lori's at it again. So I thought, yesterday we went through the Perpetual Beauty Calendar Kit. Today we're going to look at this Nature's Paintings Kit. This is another new kit that Stampin' Up! Recently released, and I just cracked into the cellophane wrapper. So I haven't opened this yet, obviously. So we're going to take this out and take a look. All right. So here's what comes in your kit. So you can see that there's no stamps, there's no block, but there are the watercolor pencils and there is a water painter. So let me go get some water in this. This is a good time to go over this too. When you get your water painter, basically, we all know that you have to turn left to loosen and right to tighten. This seems like it's upside down, or you have to do it backwards. So it wants to loosen going to the left, or to the right rather. If you turn it upside down, you're going with this part, left is loosening. All right. Not that we would ever do it that way, but that's how they're manufactured. So let me go get some water. And we'll get going here. So if you remember, just to turn the bottom, left loosens the bottom, right tightens the bottom. Don't do it from the brush part, okay? Because it'll be backwards, all right? So that's filled with some water. And let's open this up. I had a class earlier today, so I don't have my snips here because I haven't unpacked yet. And then I got to doing other stuff. So we'll just use my big old clunky scissors. So here's a pack of images. And then I'm going to take this off of here because, like any other kit, there are instructions. So you don't want to throw this out with the bathwater, so to speak. And then this is a good thing to keep sometimes. We probably won't need it for here because I think these are all on watercolor paper. But sometimes this is nice to have if you're going to color some ribbon with your alcohol blends, or if you're going to be doing some stamping and you're traveling and you don't have a piercing mat. So hang on to, a couple of these. They might come in handy. All right. So as we look at these instructions, you get a variety of images. All right. And it basically is just telling you how you should be coloring. So I am going to also go get a piece of watercolor paper. Give me a second here. I wasn't really planning ahead. So here's some of our Fluid 100 paper, and I've just got some that were cut out with the deckled rectangles. So we're just going to have this ready. And basically what made me think of it is this here, all right? So if you can see that, it's basically the instructions having us take the pencil. Actually, that looks like the water marker. But I'm going to show you how to take your pencil and then use the water marker to mute the colors a little bit. Or the water painter. Whew. Oh, and I don't even need to cut that open because these are in a pouch. It's been kind of a weird day, but I had a really good class this afternoon. On one Thursday a month, I do a Thoughtful Thursday with a group from an independent senior living center, and they were just in prime form today. They were all so happy and cheerful. I don't know what it was, but everybody was so engaged. We had a really good time. We had 7 people, and that's the most we've had at one time. We've had 6, 7, 5, you know, but 7 is the most we've had at one time. But they had fun. We do 3 projects, and by the time they get done, they're like, wow, I really like this. So that's always fun. So anyway, so these pictures show the images, and they come basically on this notepad. Oh, and I guess I wouldn't have had to have gotten my Fluid 100 paper, because you get a couple of extra sheets in the back to do either your color swatches or whatever. But I'm just going to hang on to this anyway. So you can look through your book and see, looks like you get 2 of each image. So let's find, oh, that one's kind of pretty. What are they, Monstera leaves, or I don't know what they are. But some of these are really, I mean, they're really pretty, even black and white. But once we add some color to them, let's maybe do this one. We'll just take that out of here. And we'll go here and see which, do they recommend colors on that one. So that's poinsettia 1. I think it just gives us a couple of samples, not necessarily all of them. Sure, this one they don't show colored. So we're just going to use our imagination. So what I'm going to do is just kind of show you, let's see what this should be, Daffodil Delight. So I'm going to color on here, and I'm just going to go from dark and then go a little bit lighter, I guess. And then we're going to take our water painter and we're just going to mix some of this color, and we're going to pick up the color on our brush, and we're just going to add some color. Okay. And I guess I can do that whole thing. And it looks like I might need a little bit more water, but you're kind of creating a palette with your pencil. All right, so this is one way of doing it. So you can either be a painter, or another way to do it is, and when you want to clean these off, you can take scratch paper, or you can just use whatever palette paper you're using, but you just brush it off until your brush comes clean. All right. So let's say I wanted to add a little bit of the pumpkin pie. I can color on here a little bit with the pencil, but then I can take my watercolor brush and mute those colors too. So that's a couple of different ways you can use the watercolor pencils and your aqua painter. All right. There's also a blending brush. I think that's still something Stampin' Up sells. I have a whole bunch of them, so I haven't looked to order them recently. But it basically has like a nib on the end of here, and it's got water or alcohol, depending on what you want to use. And it basically does the same thing. But the water painter gives you a nice little bit of control here when you make your own little palette. Then you can just pick up however much color you want. I don't know, are sunflowers orange or are they yellow? They're yellow with oranges. So I'm gonna just do a little bit of orange here. And then I'm gonna add some yellow highlights, I think. And then we'll get some green going too. So I think that kind of gives you the idea of that. So let's find, this is garden green. So let's put a little bit of garden green on here. Oh, silly me. All right. So we can add some green. Now I don't think that's dark enough for my liking. So I probably just didn't put enough color on here. And if that still doesn't work, I'm going to color directly on, I tried to put the cap on again. I'm going to color directly on my image here. Yeah, that's not getting dark enough for me. Let's see if I just need to pick up a little bit more water. That's going to be a very subtle green. So let's try this instead. And I'm just going to go darker on the veins, because Stampin' Up! Artists have put those there for a reason. And then I can kind of go on the edges here. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. All right, and I keep trying to put the cover on my pencil. So let's do a little lighter on the inside of the leaves then. And I'm not going to go all the way up to the edge, because I think when I do the water painter, I'm going to be able to move some of that color there. This is an experiment, because this is the first time Stampin' Up! Has had these little cards. But basically, I was going to put the cover on again. I need to take that out of my hand, I think. So you could basically trim this down and make layers on a card, or you can use this for your card front. So it is 4.5. You'd have to trim it down to 4.25 by 5.5, so it goes to 6. So I think they have it sized for some of the international markets as well. But let's see how this turns out here. And the green is darker. It's not blending quite as easily as I lifted up color off of here. So that's where I might want the blender pen. But it's moving some of that color around, and it's softening it up a little bit. But this is super light. So even when I pick up some of the color here, I might have to just refine my technique and figure out what works best for me. And maybe I just need to use more water to mute these colors a little bit more. But it'll be a good exercise just to kind of play with it and see how I like it. Let me go get one of those blender pens. I don't use these real often, and I've had them for quite a while. It still seems like it's kind of wet. So this actually moves a little bit more around for the colored pencil. But I'll have to look and see if these are still an item that's carried. So the risk you run with these blender pens, and you can see this is a blender pen. I'll look it up to see if they still have them. In fact, let me just turn on my iPad here and I'll check. But the risk you run is some pilling on the paper, because this is a harder tip than the brush. So you just have to kind of watch how much pressure you want to put in there. So you can see I'm taking off some of the fibers. So that might not be the best technique for these with that blender pen. And if they don't still carry the blender pen, disregard completely. But this would clean the same way. You just kind of brush it until there's no color coming off. You might still have some color on there, but it shouldn't matter. And both ends are basically the same. Okay, so let's just look it up and see if that's available still. And in the meantime, oh, I suppose I should have taken some of the green off of there. In the meantime, we'll keep plugging away with some of these other colors. So if you like to paint or like to color, you could do either. So you can paint on here, or you can just use the colored pencils and color. And then I'm going to let that dry, and I'm going to add some yellow highlights to that. So let me just take a look. I got some announcements coming in from my apps here. Let's let this refresh here, and we'll look up the blender pen. And then I'll look up too what the price on this kit is, because I don't remember. So Stampin' Up! Does still carry these blender pens. If you're going to use this, just be careful with how much pressure you put on there. And that's $14. I think they come as a set of 3, but I'm looking that up just to be sure. Yep, it's a set of 3 for $14, all right? So then let me look up this kit. Nature's Paintings. And this kit is $25. So you get the colored pencils, you get the water painter, you get all of the cards, and there's 24 cards in here. So you've got the 24 cards, plus you have the couple of extra pieces to use for your palette. So let's say it's during celebration. If this was $25, you need $60 to get your first level free item. You would have to purchase another $35 of something. So maybe this would be a nice gift for somebody you know that likes to color. You could get a couple of those and maybe some cardstock or some embellishments and get up to your $60 level to get a free item. But everything you need for this kit, get that little ink spot out of there, everything you need for the kit is here. So the colors that come with, we've got the Daffodil Delight, Pumpkin Pie, this was the Garden Green, Early Espresso, Red, Berry Burst, Flirty Flamingo, and Coastal Cabana. All right, so that's this kit. I mentioned the other day that we're going to have some get-togethers. So we're going to, everybody that wants to come to this will order a kit from me. If you're on my team, you can order the kit through yourself and come. But I'll be posting some dates for those coming up. So that's what I have tonight. There are a lot of different possibilities in here, whether you wanted to just use the colored pencils, or if you wanted to use the pencils with your water painter or a blending pen. A lot of possibilities. So that's what I got. Happy stamping, and we'll see you next time.